Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, Donald Trump's minions very well might fry for the crimes that they're committing. As I say that, I already know what a lot of you are thinking. I know what a lot of you are going to type into the comments section. You're going to say, oh, okay, Gina, sure, Trump is just going to pardon them. They'll never see the inside of a cell. I was concerned about that as well. So I did a little bit of digging and I found out something really interesting. It's going to depend on Donald Trump being impeached and how the articles of impeachment are drafted. So I'll explain that in a minute. But, while Noam and Hegseth, Miller, all these others, they are acting like they have pocket pardons and they have nothing to fear. I am here to tell you that's absolutely not the case if Donald Trump is successfully impeached. Not impeached and removed, just impeached. So I'm going to get into all the details. I'm going to explain why they face prison time, how Donald Trump's impeachment is the key. So before I get into all this, though, please do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button below this video. It is free, really, truly helps the show in the algorithms and to get more eyeballs on this stuff. We need to reach more people. So please do me that favor. I really appreciate it. So here's the deal. As I've been sharing with all of you guys, puppy killer Kristi Noem and Donald Trump's Gestapo, they have been breaking laws and they've been violating the Constitution left and right. This isn't a matter of opinion. This is just fact. This has been proven in numerous court cases. This has been proven based on video evidence from both bystanders and from body cam footage. And so now Noam has added to this. So she has admitted on camera that she ignored court orders. So take a look at what she had to say. She was on TV and she was asked about violating Judge James Boasberg's order. You guys will recall he ordered them to turn the planes around that were headed down to El Salvador to that horrific prison. And these planes were carrying mostly innocent Venezuelan immigrants. We know that because there's been a ton of reporting on it. A bunch of different outlets looked into it, especially ProPublica, and found most of the people on those planes did not have any criminal history whatsoever. And nevertheless, those planes continued on. They flew down to El Salvador. All of those men were put into the CCOT prison, which is a torture prison where they were tortured sexually, physically, emotionally, psychologically. It was horrific. And they did nothing wrong, most of them. So check out what Kristi Noem had to say and her answers to, did you violate a judge's order?
Filing in federal court this week, the Justice Department said that when the administration was ordered back in March to stop sending detained migrants to a mega prison in El Salvador, you personally made the final call to continue the flights anyway. Is that correct? Do you acknowledge that?
We have court filings going on and decisions that are going forward. I'll let them continue to play through that process.
But did you make that
I'm
call?
proud of President Trump and his leadership and the decisions that we have made. And the decisions that are made on deportations, where flights go and when they go, are my decision at the Department of Homeland Security.
So she admits it. So that is going to be Exhibit 1. When there is a criminal trial against Kristi Noem, that will be one of the exhibits against her that will be shown to the jury. This will also be used when they prosecute Pete Hegseth for either murder or war crimes. Take a look at what he put up on Twitter. So as you see here, he wrote, "For your Christmas wish list," and it's a mock version of a Franklin book, little turtle guy. And it says Franklin targets narco-terrorists, and it shows him shooting, a bomb at them, blowing them up. Now, Hegseth, as you guys all know, he you may have heard recently, especially, he has been accused of giving an order to launch a second missile to kill the two survivors of a boat that our military blew up in the Caribbean Ocean. So this is getting a lot of press because it is illegal. Again, we don't know if this is just, if this is not just, but if this is a war crime or if this is murder. It depends on, do you believe what the Trump administration is saying, that we are at war with these people? If so, then it's a war crime. But if you think it's bogus, which I do, because Congress was not involved in these decisions. Congress has to call it. Congress has the power to say, yes, we are at war with XYZ. Congress never did that. So either way, it's illegal, violation of the Constitution. But if we're not at war with these people, then it's just flat out murder. So anyway, the Trump regime, of course, they're claiming, oh, well, these boats were carrying drugs to the U.S. We all know they've shown zero evidence to prove any of their claims, to back up what they're saying. They've done nothing but lie to us over and over again, and the courts, about all kinds of stuff since Trump took office. Well, now Hegseth is under fire, and he's being investigated by a bipartisan group of lawmakers in both the House and the Senate. And what they're saying is that these two men that they killed in this second strike posed no threat to the U.S. They were literally just hanging on to the wreckage in the water because their boat was blown up. So proper protocol, the rules of engagement, rules of war, are that you take them into custody. You arrest them. The Coast Guard, did I say Coast Guard? Coast Guard could have easily taken them into custody, which is what should have happened in the first place. The entire boat should not have been blown up. That is not the way things work in this country. We board the boat, we intercept it, we board the boat, we check it out. If there are drugs, then they're all taken into custody and arrested. If there are no drugs, you let them go. You don't just blow up people and not even acknowledge who they were. And you may have seen, Katie Miller had another tantrum over on CNN. Bakari Sellers did a great job pinning her down as she's trying to defend this. And he's like, can you name one person on these boats? She couldn't, of course, because they have no idea who these people are. We do know from family members and other reporting that some of these people are just fishermen. So, and then this particular boat, not to get too in the weeds, but there were 11 people on this boat. And according to experts in this kind of stuff and intercepting these kind of boats, typically you don't have that many people on a boat if you're carrying drugs, because they want to maximize how many drugs they can carry. So all the way around, none of it makes sense. We all know they're full of shit. But anyway, of course, Trump, Hegseth, they were totally afraid of these guys living. I mean, dead men tell no tales. This is why I think they did it. Because if those two men survive, the two that were holding on to the wreckage, then what's going to happen, right? Then they may at some point be able to speak with reporters. They could debunk all of Trump's lies about murdering drug traffickers. They can't have that happening. So of course they want them all dead. So these murders violate numerous laws and rules, including the military rules. And so Hegseth, he could be prosecuted for war crimes. That's punishable by death. He could be called back to, active duty and then kicked out of the military and, disgraced. He could be brought up on murder charges. And he boasted about it. It's not like he did this or this happened and then he went, oh my God, what did my guys do? What did the military do? He boasted about this online after the Washington Post reported that they had two sources who confirmed that he gave the verbal order for the second strike. He supposedly said, quote, kill them all. So that's what they reported. After they reported that, Hegseth posted this on his Twitter account. This is also going to be used against him in a court of law and when he's prosecuted. So Hegseth posted, quote, as usual, the fake news is delivering more fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory reporting to discredit our incredible warriors fighting to protect the homeland. As we've said from the beginning and in every statement, these highly effective strikes are specifically intended to be lethal kinetic strikes. The declared intent is to stop lethal drugs, destroy narco boats, and kill the narco terrorists who are poisoning the American people. Every trafficker we kill is affiliated with a designated terrorist organization. Funny how they've never said who those terrorist organizations are. But anyway, he went on to say, the Biden administration preferred the kid gloves approach, allowing millions of people, including dangerous cartels and unvetted Afghans, to flood our communities with drugs and violence. Yeah, those unvetted Afghans, by the way, the one he's referring to that sadly killed a National Guard or a National Guard member and then has another one in critical condition. That person's visa or whatever it is that they issued to him, that was approved by the Trump administration this year. But anyway, I digress. He goes on to say, the Trump administration has sealed the border and gone on offense against narco terrorists. Biden coddled terrorists. We kill them. Our current operations in the Caribbean are lawful under both U.S. and international law, with all actions in compliance with the law of armed conflict, and approved by the best military and civilian lawyers up and down the chain of command. Our warriors in Southcom put their lives on the line every day to protect the homeland from narco terrorists, and I will always have their back. So these people are morons. They're morons like the January 6th insurrectionists. Their egos are so big and so fragile. They are such attention whores that they will go and readily admit their crimes on social media just to get their ego stroked, right? Just to have people soothe their fragile egos with all of the backslapping comments, the positive comments. So, I warned accused rapist Petey on Twitter that Trump can't pardon any crime if it's related to his impeachment. So that's what I really wanted to share with you guys and why I'm going into all of this, because if Trump is successfully impeached and those articles of impeachment include these crimes, that negates any pardon that Trump promised any of these sociopaths. So even if Trump isn't removed from office, like, what went down before with the last two impeachments where he was impeached, but then the Senate refused to remove him, even then, Hegseth, Noem, Miller, Bovino, all of them, they cannot use a Trump pardon if it's related to any of the crimes for which Donald Trump is impeached. So as long as, and let me lay this out for people who don't understand how the impeachment process works and why he hasn't been impeached yet. The House votes on impeachment. They bring articles of impeachment. The House votes yes or no. So when you have a Republican majority like we do right now, which we probably won't after the midterms, it's not going to go through. It takes a simple majority, and then it moves on to the Senate, where then I believe it takes a 2/3 vote to remove him. So he can be impeached in the House, but then the Senate has the final say. So right now, the House and the Senate are both controlled by Republicans. You're never going to get the majority in the House to vote, and you're never going to get the 2/3 in the Senate right now. The hope is after the election, after the midterms next year, Democrats will, at very bare minimum, take the House. It's looking very good. It's looking like a pretty sure bet. So he will be impeached. Hopefully, they will bring it right away and not pull a Pelosi and drag it out. But anyway, that's what all needs to happen. So, and if you guys want to go check this out, this is all laid out. This is an Article 2, Section C of the Constitution. And here's how we know that they know this is really bad. They know that this is beyond just a basic scandal like all the other crap that they've done, the Signal Gate and all that, because they are scrambling to cover their asses. Trump kind of sort of threw Hegseth under the Trump train. So he was asked about this. I think this was over the weekend. And Trump told the reporters, quote, "I don't know that that happened. And Pete said he did not want them even know what people were talking about. So we'll look into it. But no, I wouldn't have wanted a second strike. The first strike was very lethal. It was fine. And if there were two people around, but Pete said that didn't happen. I have great confidence." So at first, they're denying that this ever happened. Oh yeah, that did no. Pete said we didn't hit them with a second bomb. We didn't blow people up. All of a sudden, because now, they have so many people coming forward confirming this, and there's video evidence, so they can't deny it anymore. So now they're doing, a little moonwalk away from it. Oh, well, yeah, it did happen, but what had happened was, here's what really went down. So as of yesterday afternoon, the White House then came forward and they said, oh, well, yeah, it did happen, but what the way it all went down, or who made the call, was an admiral named Frank Bradley. He's the one who ordered the second strike. So this was as of yesterday afternoon. Okay. Then today, Donald Trump had I don't know if it was a cabinet meeting, roundtable with all of his cabinet members. Typical, sycophantic bullshit with them stroking his ego, giving him verbal fellatio. And so he says in that meeting just today, oh, yeah, well, Pete, he did it, but, it was fine. I mean, it was totally, they were within their rights. And, and Pete said that he didn't know that, they were blowing up people and, this was on the Admiral. And so we'll have to see and blah. I mean, he just talked in a circle. They know this is an issue. And I think Pete Hegseth would probably be okay with Donald Trump throwing him under the bus because, again, if Donald Trump gets impeached for this, if you can lay the blame at his feet and he gets impeached for this issue, then that leaves Pete Hegseth with his ass hanging out, because then Donald Trump gets impeached, his pardon for Pete Hegseth is no longer valid. So I think that's probably the way Donald Trump, if they've had a meeting on this, probably the way he's selling it to him. Like, look, I'm going to have to throw you under the Trump train here, but you got to trust me on this because I can't go down for this. Otherwise, we all go down. Now, the problem that they're having in selling that, oh, it was this admiral, is that the Washington Post now has 7 sources who all say that Hegseth gave the order. It's a little muddled, though, because now the New York Times came out with a report today saying that they have two sources saying, oh, well, Pete gave the overall order, but he didn't actually give the order to kill the two guys in the water. That was on the admiral. So we'll see. Is the admiral going to take the fall for them? That sends a very bad message to the rest of the military that, when push comes to shove, you're going to get the shove. You're going to get shoved right onto the tracks and under the Trump train. So there you go. And you know what other issue that they're going to run into? Trump claims that these strikes are necessary to stop drugs from coming into the U.S., and he said that his justification for being able to bomb these boats without the approval of Congress is that we're at war with drug cartels. Kind of hard to sell that excuse, though, when Donald Trump just pardoned a major drug trafficker. So I don't know if you guys heard about this, but if you did, he just recently pardoned former Honduran president Juan Orlando Hernandez. This was about a week ago. Hernandez was sentenced to a 45-year prison term for drug trafficking and weapons charges. His brother also got time. His brother was supposedly like the kingpin, and Hernandez was working with him. And his brother is like tied to, or was proven to, I don't remember which, to have murdered people, to have murdered rival gangs. So when Trump was confronted about the hypocrisy of this, he went to his old excuse. He blamed Joe Biden, of course. So Trump said that, Hernandez was set up. He was set up by the Biden administration. That's what people told me. And I looked at the facts and I believe them. And then the reporter pushed him and said, well, what facts are you referring to? And he just totally went off on something else and spun it. So couldn't provide any fact. Here is a fact. I'll give you guys facts. We all know this is a blatant lie and a deflection. But here's how we know that this is bogus, this excuse. This investigation into Hernandez was started under the Trump administration. We know this for a fact. This is the DEA's press release that you see here. So this is about the case against Hernandez and his brother. And the investigation, it looks like, started around 2016. And so started initially, I believe, under the Obama administration, but then charges were filed during Donald Trump's first term, because Hernandez was sentenced in March of 2021. He was sentenced only 2 months after Donald Trump took office. You don't file charges and then 2 months later, oh, you've been convicted, you're going to prison. It's not the way it works. It takes a long time for an investigation. So this started, and then I heard today that actually it was, guess who? Not Gregory Bovino. Who was it? It was one of Trump's other shills. I forget. But anyway, one of the other guys working in Donald Trump's administration right now is who filed Emil Bovey. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Emil Bovey. He is the one who filed these charges against Hernandez in Donald Trump's first term. So how is this a Biden setup? And then Hernandez's brother, his brother's name is Tony, he was convicted of his crimes in 2019. So right in the middle of Donald Trump's presidency. So once again, he's blaming Biden for something that he did. He prosecuted these people. His DOJ prosecuted these people, but now he's letting them off the hook while claiming that, oh, I care so much. We've got to save American lives. All these drugs. This is a guy, the one he pardoned, Hernandez, literally said something to the effect of, I want to shove cocaine up the noses of Americans. Like, this guy trafficked and imported I think it was something like millions of tons of drugs into the US. So please tell me again, Donald Trump, how you care about drug trafficking into the United States. So, still waiting to hear exactly why he did this, what he got out of it, because we know from all of the other reporting that he's pardoning people who have business deals with him or his kids, who have attended events with them and, given huge donations to him or to PACs that are related to Donald Trump. So, he's doing this for a reason. We will find out eventually. All right, guys. Anyway, please like this video, share it with everyone you know so they understand how this all works and how these people can still be taken down. Please contact your representatives in Washington, contact your Congress members, and let them know they must tie Donald Trump to this so that Pete Hegseth and the others, and they have to tie him to what Kristi Noem is doing so that all of them will fry, so that they will all pay. Because unless they do that, he will issue pardons for them and they will get to walk. Either that or they have to be hit with state charges. So, all right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.